Hey, Connie. Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's live. I'm so happy you are here. Tamitha joined. Hello, Tamitha. Okay, so we'll just give everybody a couple more minutes. It was kind of a long day in clinic, so I am a little bit disheveled, but that's okay because you guys know me, and that's what I do. I'm always just kind of disheveled. Okay, let me just straighten out here just a little bit. Get a little bit closer here. And I think you can see that. Okay. Connie said, do you think separate creams dispense more cream than the combo? They're a little bit different container, and we are actually working on getting a different dispenser. And so stay tuned for that, but they can be a little bit different just because of the size. So these are the combos or the individuals that we have now. And because it's a little bit different dispenser here, it feels like a little more is coming out. I'm getting a little hoarse. It feels like a little bit more is coming out, but it's actually not. It's a larger quantity, if you will. But it seems like that with the other, like the combo creams, it's more like a hydraulic pump in there. And so they concentrate it because it's a smaller area. So there's actually more in that smaller amount, but we are switching over. So it will seem a little bit less like you're using like a ton of cream. But yeah, absolutely. I know that is a little bit strange. And we are trying to work with getting it all right. So never fear. It is the right dosing when you use one pump. And then sometimes if we want to use a little bit less, you just press a little bit less hard. So when you press it all the way down, a full pump comes out. So if you just slightly pump, it's a half pump. So if you need to adjust it just a little bit because you feel like maybe you're getting a little too much progesterone, you can do that too. But when we switch over, it'll be less pumps. Or less pumps to get less amount. So, okay. So I'm going to jump right into the ovary retirement plan. I thought this was really cute. There's nothing cute about your ovaries retiring, but I thought today when I did my little post video about tonight's live, that it would be fun to sort of relate it to a regular financial retirement plan. And so the ovary retirement plan and the financial plan are very, very similar. And it's all about preparing for the future. So thank you, as we're preparing, oh my gosh, I just realized, I don't know, I'm a little flushed. Maybe I have a hot flash, but I kind of look like I'm a little pink, a little glow. I don't know what that is. Okay. So when you think about financial or menopause, are you ready for menopause? That's the big question, right? How do you get ready for menopause? Well, how do you get ready for retirement? It's pretty much the same. And I see all these videos. I follow people on TikTok and Instagram who are talking about menopause. They're menopause doctors. And they're basically saying things I wish I'd known. And one of the main things that I wish I'd known is, number one, when I was younger, to eat more protein. Number two, to build more muscle, because all of that counts. And also, we're going to talk about this tonight, protecting your adrenal glands. And I'm going to talk about why protecting your adrenal glands is so important. And if you stay to the end, I always have to give you something, just a little teaser to wait for. If you've ever heard or had somebody ask or present the question, does having a tubal ligation or your tubes tied, does that affect your ovaries? Does that change anything? Does that cause problems? And so I'm going to give you the answers to that, and I'm going to make you wait till the end, because I think most everybody has heard someone say, after I had my tubes tied, fill in the blank, everything changed. Menopause started earlier, or perimenopause started earlier. I got more cysts. And so I'm going to talk about whether that's true or not. Hi, Elaine. I see you pop on there. Okay, kids, let's talk about retirement plan. So what do you do when you are planning for retirement? Well, you save and you invest for the future, right? And everybody knows that the earlier you start saving, the more money you're going to have for retirement. So you have to plan ahead, okay? You want to protect your assets and have a backup plan because you never know because when you invest usually in stuff, you're investing in these complex, I don't even know. I like accounting makes me want to cry when I like this. It's that time of year too. My accountants and bookkeepers and everybody, they're just like talking to me. And I'm like, I just know about ovaries. I don't know about all the accounting stuff, right? So if you know accounting stuff, it's totally cool because you don't have to know ovary stuff. Well, you have to know a little bit of ovary stuff. But so when it comes to diversifying, I think that's the word, right? That sounds very sophisticated, like I know about diversification. That's what you have to do with menopause. You want to diversify. You want to have not all your eggs in one basket, no pun intended, because I'm going to talk about the function of ovaries and eggs in just a little bit. But you want to make sure that you protect your assets, you have a backup plan. So you want to make sure that you've got insurance. What if you get sick? What if you have to go into assisted living? What if you have to go into a nursing plan? You want to make sure that you've got insurance for that because all of that costs so much money. I mean, it doesn't get any less expensive as we age, right? And that is another compelling reason for you guys to please listen to what I'm saying, because would you rather be in the nursing home or would you rather be vacationing on a cruise ship? And everybody has that choice. And what you do and the choices that you make now, oh, I'm getting a little preachy, aren't I? Okay, I got to stop. But what you do now and the choices that you make now very much dictate whether you are going to have a smooth and easy and happy transfer or if you are going to struggle with life as we age, right? Okay. So, health coverage, you want to make sure you have health insurance because things happen as we age, right? Things happen as our hormones decline and we start literally falling apart. And financial advisors, you want someone who knows what they're doing, wink, 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 to tell you how to manage your money so that you have it when you need it. And you want long-term stability, right? Nobody wants, hey, today, gold is up here and silver's down here. And, this real estate you've invested is over here, these rental properties. Oh, there was just a big flood there or something. And now that's not worth anything anymore. So you want to make sure that you have long-term stability. I promise, if you're not already picking up on this, I'm going somewhere with this. Okay. Enjoy retirement with smart strategies. So what are smart strategies? Smart strategies are once you've retired, you want to manage your money responsibly, right? You're not just going to go spend it all because it's like, hey, I made it this far. I might as well just go spend it all, right? And you just got to retirement, whatever retirement age is these days. I don't even know. I don't ever plan to retire because I love this and I love you guys. And like, I would never just go sit on the couch and watch Netflix and eat, what do they call it? Eat bonbons. I mean, I might do that sometimes, but once you reach financial stability, right? And you're going to retire or you're going to stop going to your 9 to 5 job. Harry said, buy it low, sell it high. I'm Morgan Stanley man. Yes. Okay. I promise this is not a money talk, but in terms of what you're banking for your future, very, very important. Okay. So you want to have smart strategies. So you want to manage your money responsibly, even after retirement or when you're in retirement, right? And Social Security can help. Annuities. I don't even know what an annuity is. Harry, you could you could chime in. Whatever an annuity is, I think it's like just something that pays you out or something over time. And I could be totally wrong about that. And maybe you want to even get a part-time job. Joyce, hi, Connie, I'm late. What was the answer to separate creams dispensing more? Okay, so Joyce asked Connie, the answer to separate creams dispensing more. And so the answer to that was that these jars have a vacuum, and the other jars that were the combo creams are a hydraulic sort of thing that it pushes from the top. So when this comes out, the dispenser, it seems like a lot more cream than when the little hydraulic thing happens. And we are switching over to all hydraulics, but these are the individual creams that we have now. And all the combo creams are in the little hydraulic push. It's a little lever there. The bottom kind of comes up like that and pushes it out. And so we're switching over. So I know that's going to be a little bit confusing. We might have to send out messages that say we're switching now. It's okay. But whatever the pump dispenser says on it, and the milligrams are different with the different containers too. So we've taken care of all that. So you just kind of have to trust us a little bit. One of the things that we can do too that, we try to tell people is that when you push all the way down really hard, the full amount comes out. And so you can push just lighter and just get a little bit out. So when you push, this is a new one. I have to prime it here. Okay, so when you push, that much comes out. And when you push just a half, you don't have to push all the way down. So it gives you like a half. So anyway, I'm taking a bath in this. I'm going to go to sleep. I better wipe that off because I'm not ready to take my progesterone cream yet. If you guys wonder what I'm doing or what we're talking about, and if you're not in our program, I'll just do a quick little plug right now. It is the same milligram. So whatever pump you're directed to use, it is correct for the pumps that it tells you to use on there. So yes, same milligrams. We just dose it according to your symptoms and everything. So whatever we tell you to use, it's good, promise. Okay, so if you're not in the program and you're not using the bioidentical topical hormone creams, you will want to go order a test kit. So you just go to my link in bio, or my wonderful moderator, fiance, will put in the link, the website, and you can go there and order a kit. And they're only $97 this month. And you have to use the code GREEN97 to get that. But when you go to checkout, and the website is Hormone Bliss, and it's okay to put the estrogen on your face. Yes, Joyce, you can put the estrogen on your face. I probably need some estrogen on my face because I'm really pink. I'm really flushed. Oh my gosh. And it seems like it's not getting any better. I don't know what's up with that. Okay. So, oh, you know what? TikTok has these filters. I might have some weird filter on right now. I'll go check it later. Anyway, I don't think I am a little flushed though, so it might be a real thing. Choice. I've been doing it and love it. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, if you want to get into the club, all you do is go order a test kit. It is a simple little saliva kit. You just put your saliva in here, and it is free shipping, and it's free shipping back to the lab. And this is a totally legit, I promise, test. We do test. It is this same lab does serum testing, which is what you go to like Quest Labs for. And the same lab does dried urine testing and blood spots. So you can check thyroid. And we now have the thyroid test up on our website. If you go to Shop Hormone Bliss, you can order a thyroid test too. So we're working on cortisol and the Dutch test and all those things, but we don't have them all up and ready to go just yet. But anyway, when you put your saliva in here, all you do is you fill out this form with like 1 million symptoms of menopause. You just fill this out. And then you can put if you're on medication or hormones or anything that's going on, if you're having weight gain, dry, brittle hair, constipation, hoarseness, frozen shoulder. You know, I always have to say frozen shoulder, but joint pain, or if you have uterine fibroids, your pulse rate slow, breast tenderness, growing hair on your face, not sleeping, brain fog, all the things. It's glitching on my side. Honey, is it glitching? I'm talking to my moderator. His name is Mike. Am I glitching? You have to let me know. It could be internet where Elaine is. Okay. Mike says no. Connie says my site's okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, sometimes internet's weird, but you know what? If you want to go back, I try to post these. You guys know I try to post these like the next day, but it's on Facebook and YouTube and streaming on LinkedIn and all the places. So it will be posted there if you can't see it tonight. So, okay, so you fill out your questionnaire, you put it in here. There's a mailer bag, and you just slip it in there and send it in. And then when we get your results, we will tell you your results and then get you a plan to get you some hormone creams, which is what they were talking about. So, okay. Oh, it's okay, Elaine. No worries. That's why I like streaming to so many different places, because my internet here is so unpredictable. I live out in the country and it's super unpredictable. So no big deal. Okay. So this is our regular retirement plan. And so let's talk about your ovary retirement plan. Okay. So I do want to say before we leave this here is that, now I draw this picture a lot. If you were to take a graph and you put birth to 100, you guys have this memorized probably, and 50 is the approximate age of menopause. So we'll put menopause. And menopause is just 1 year without periods. It means absolutely nothing. What's significant is if we put hormones, H with a circle around it, hormones, on this axis, your hormones start increasing around puberty, then they kind of go crazy, then perimenopause, they go really crazy, and then they literally flatline. So we're talking about the ovary retirement plan. We're talking about what happens when you don't have any hormones anymore. And what happens when you are thinking about trying to protect your assets and to feel good through menopause when you literally have no ovarian hormones anymore. And I love the analogy of the Easter basket, because Easter's coming up, right? So when you're a baby girl, you are born with all the eggs you're ever going to have in your ovaries. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And by the time you're about 30, you're down to about half your eggs. And then by the time you're 50, 51, whatever, now you have no eggs in your basket anymore. And that's when all double hockey sticks, whatever, breaks loose. And so that's what we're dealing here is no ovaries means no ovarian hormones. So it's ovarian failure. Menopause is just a year without periods. Ovarian failure is a consequence that we're trying to have an ovary retirement plan for. And it is so easy to do this. So I'm going to break it down and make it really easy for you and make sure that you have all the information how you can go into this retirement mode. Okay, so we're talking about money here, but we're going to go and we're going to talk about the ovary retirement plan now. And so just like we had to build a financial savings account for our future, we want to build a hormone savings account. And also for premenopause. So we want a menopause savings account and a premenopause savings account, because you know what? It's always the rainy day stuff, right? So we're not, particularly when we're planning for finances, planning for age 65 and older, right? Sometimes we have to plan for what if something happens, AKA hysterectomy, AKA cancer. What do we do and what do we have for our ovarian reserve that we're building for our future? So one of the things that you can do is you can maintain a healthy hormone balance. So what the heck does that mean? That means if you are 15, 20, 25, 30, you need to be working right now. If you are a mom or a grandma and you have, I know Connie's fun, isn't it? If you go watch the video, I made the cutest little ovary retirement plan paper. Go back and watch my video that I just did today. It's hilarious. But yeah, so if you're a mom or a grandma and you have granddaughters or daughters, they need to understand this now. And someday, if I ever stop chasing my tail trying to get all this built out, I'm going to write children's books for our daughters and for our granddaughters, because it is so important that they know this stuff, because then you just find yourself having all these hormone problems and we're all hush hush about it. And so they're just suffering in silence. So it's not just us menopause chicks. It is lots of women who are suffering, and sometimes not so silent, but are suffering. So it's not good. So maintaining a healthy hormone balance, that happens now. That happens as early as you can. So if you're perimenopause, especially in your 35, 40, 45, This is so, so vital. And the things that I wish I had known, I had a hysterectomy in my early 40s. And this is when I was building this knowledge base. So don't feel like if you don't know this stuff, and I'm a physician, I am a family medicine medical doctor, and they don't give us any training on this in med school. All they do is say menopause is a year without periods, hormones cause cancer. Tell your menopausal women that you just put them on depression pills or sleeping pills. And that was it. It was all pharmacology for all the symptoms that we get after our ovaries fail. So, talking about hormone balance and preparing for that, I wish I'd known that, because I wouldn't have had my hysterectomy back then. And, fast forward, they left me an ovary, thank goodness, but it didn't work. And I always say that removing the uterus does not fix the problem. It only stops the bleeding. So that is just sort of the wake up aha moment call, that if you have hormone imbalance and you've had a hysterectomy and nobody's worked with your hormones, they are doing you such a disservice, because now you have no signal. It's like putting a smiley face sticker on your gas. Wow. What do you call that? Yeah, I've got brain fog, I guess. It's been a long day, I promise. But over the gas gauge in your car, it's like, oh, like, I don't want to buy gas today. That actually, I had to stop and buy gas today. I think that's why that's on my mind. But what if I saw the empty light that came on and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to deal with that. I don't want to look at that. That's just a reminder. I'm just going to stick a piece of paper over my dashboard so I can't see the red light on. That's what so many women do with menopause, because they're just like, I don't even want to deal with that. I don't even have the tools. I don't know what to do with that. And so that's where we are with this. And so we really just have to start preparing that this is going to happen. I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it happens to 100% of women. 100, not 99.9, 100. If you live long enough, whether you've had a hysterectomy or not, your ovaries are going to die. They're going to fail. And I always say this, if you do an ultrasound on a woman 10 years out from menopause, let's say, sometimes even 5 years, someday I'll have to post an actual ultrasound report for you guys, a pelvic ultrasound report. The radiologist will read it as ovaries not detected. They're gone. They are raisins. They are dried up. They are poof. If there's anything there, it's not enough for an ultrasound. And ultrasounds are a little grainy. I get it. On a CT, you might be able to see a little bit of dead tissue in there. But on an ultrasound, you won't see them. They're gone. They're done. There's no more hormonal influence. There's no more eggs in the basket. They're gone and they're done. So how do we maintain that healthy hormone balance? Well, we build muscle. Seems like a silly thing to build for healthy hormone balance. That's a mouthful. But building muscle actually supports the ovaries to produce more testosterone. It works that way in men as well. So we want to have those healthy testosterone levels. And we want to eat lots of protein, because that also promotes healthy muscle. And exercise, all sorts of exercise. But one of the best exercises that you can do is interval training. And I'm not talking about CrossFit and throwing tires and throwing your back out. And actually, I kind of did throw my back out yesterday. I was spring cleaning. It was not a good thing. I lifted and I just thought, oh my gosh, why did I lift that? I know better. Lift with your legs, not with your back. But so exercise and interval training means short bursts. As hard as you can, short bursts, like you're out of breath, short bursts. So one of my favorite things to do is get on the elliptical and go super fast and then rest, and then super fast and then rest. And literally you can do that within 5 minutes a day. I do strength training and I have this cute little ab circle thing I do, and little dumbbells and stuff. But as far as building your ovarian reserves, that is the best. And why that is the best, this is cool, nerdy science, is because insulin is your sugar storage hormone. And insulin talks to your male steroid hormones that your ovaries make. They're not really male. Males and females have all the same hormones. However, women have less testosterone than men. Women actually make more testosterone than estrogen, though, apples to apples. Men have more testosterone. But if it's not balanced in your ovaries and all the hormones are like fighting for each other's, jockeying for control, if you have too much testosterone or too much androgen because your progesterone is just sitting back going, hey, I'm tired. I'm having a hard time with this ovary production thing. It's such a mess in here. It's just chaos. So whatever, you do your thing. Well, then testosterone, Papa Bear is like, Papa Bear hormone is like, hey, I'm in charge here. Well, when you have too much testosterone, that then speaks to insulin and tells insulin, we've got a problem here. It's kind of a complicated process, but insulin and testosterone really do go head to head. When insulin's not working, you get insulin resistance. And that's what PCOS is, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And you don't even have to have cysts on your ovaries to have PCOS. It's a progesterone deficiency and an androgen excess. So that's not always the case, though. I will back up on that a little bit because I had PCOS and I was what they called a skinny PCOSer because usually with insulin resistance, you gain weight. So my hormones were all jacked up. I didn't play by any rules, but I also had autoimmune thyroid stuff. So let me tell you, girls, I know about hormone issues. And I love to say that God doesn't do things to us, He does them for us. Because of my journey, I'm here for you and I understand. And so I can totally, I don't want to negate your pain because pain is pain. But I can totally tell you that whatever jacked up hormone issue is there, I've had it. So it's not fun. And it is a journey for sure. And even being the director or the conductor of the train, I still struggle. I'm here to tell you that it is constant balancing act. And it's so nice to have someone on the journey with you that at least knows a little bit what they're doing. I know enough to be dangerous, right? So don't go it alone. Please don't go it alone. Okay. So what else can you do? You can protect your adrenals. And this is really important. And I'm going to show you a picture here in just a minute about the interplay between the ovaries and the adrenals. But I call your adrenals your backup plan because God is not mean. He never intended for us to just have ovaries that dry up and lose our estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, pregnant alone, DHEA. Never intended for us to suffer. Truly believe that. Although Eve did make a little mistake in the garden, just saying. And he did actually say it was going to be rough on us. So anyway, whatever your spiritual beliefs are, there's this thing that we do have these hormone issues, but we don't have to suffer. And so we have better living through chemistry and truly believe that our adrenals are our backup plan because the adrenal glands, the little glands that sit on your kidneys, make all the same hormones that, thank you, Vivian, make all the same hormones that your ovaries do. So when your ovaries retire because you run out of eggs, because that's the plan, because really we don't want to be having babies when our 50s and 60s. I mean, I can't imagine. My son's 20, almost 21 next month, finishing college. I'm like, I'm out. I'm like, I cannot imagine. So if you have adrenal glands, they make all the same hormones. The problem is who has healthy adrenal glands? Because your adrenal glands regulate your stress. And stress is not just a mean boss or being chased by a bear. Stress is the toxins. Stress is what we put in our body that's not healthy. Stress is the environmental toxins. Stress is the inflammation. Stress is the cortisol imbalance. So we have a lot of hits to our adrenal glands. Okay, good nutrition. So what the heck is good nutrition? Because nowadays, even when you buy organic vegetables in the grocery store, like especially at Walmart, the lettuce is white. Put in the chat if you like it, like what colors do you think a tomato should be? I thought it was supposed to be red, like my cheeks are right now. But what color should a tomato be? Well, it should be red, and they're like light pink. And like celery, it should be dark green. I have some friends who have a massive hydroponic greenhouse. I was blown away when I walked through there and I saw what lettuce is supposed to look like. And lettuce has a smell. It's a beautiful smell. It is just so, it's a fresh smell. It's really hard to describe. And I love those caprese salads, like with the basil. They gave me some basil that was just over the top dreamy. I mean, it was like most of the time, I mean, basil has a real pungent kind of flavor to it, but lettuce never has a taste or a smell. And so to like have that lettuce, and they had iceberg and they had romaine, and it was just beautiful, beautiful green. When you don't, purple basil, I don't know if I've had purple basil. I'm gonna have to try some. But when you don't turn over the crops every 7 years, another Bible thing, right? But that's what we're supposed to do. But they're growing these vegetables on topsoil, which is a big reason why I'm such a huge proponent of supplements. So, oh, and that reminds me, if you guys are in our program, just let us know if you want me to put an adrenal program together for you for supplements. We have a great sort of clearinghouse, or it's an app, and it's like all the best of the best of the best supplements are in there, and I have a bunch of protocols in there. So if you are having trouble finding supplements for things, your vitamin D's or things like that, just let us know and I can put a protocol for you and email it to you. And all you do is click the link, and then they just like, you could just buy it right from there and they'll send it to you. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, good nutrition. And the hard thing is that even when you buy organic or you get some lettuce with some decent color in it, it's still very minerally depleted. Minerally, that's a word. I think minerally, I made it up. You know, every word one time was once a word that somebody made up. And I love to make up words. One of my favorite words that I made up, I think I made it up anyway, it just kind of popped out one day, is what was it? Shrinkly. It's where your laundry shrinks and it's wrinkled. I don't know. Shrinkle. So anyway, yeah, love to make up words. So love the link. Yeah, Connie, just let us know, or you can even DM me. If you guys aren't in our program and you just want to direct message me, I will send a link to you guys and you can order directly from there. So you don't have to be in our program. But if you want to be in our program, I'll do my plug again. All you do is go to Hormone Bliss and order a test kit, or my link in bio. And my beautiful fiance, you guys probably don't even know his name because I always just say beautiful fiance, but he tries to remain anonymous, but his name is Mike and he's wonderful. Okay. So healthy, healthy, healthy. And you have to have supplements. So I could just put a big circle and say, take some supplements, right? Because it's really hard to get good stuff. Healthy gut. Start right now. Hi, Mike. Start right now with taking care of your gut. That's such a gross word, gut. Your intestinal tract. Probiotics, making sure that you keep your stomach acid healthy, taking things like glutamine that acts like spackling in the gut to keep it nice and coated, taking care of stress, keeping your, and one of the creepiest things is, oh my gosh, this is clown world. Doctors put everybody on PPIs or Prilosec, Nexium, they're called proton pump inhibitors. And because they get acid and it starts to hurt, you get heartburn, and they put you on those and it blocks your stomach acid. You need your stomach acid to digest your food. If you don't digest your food, you're not going to get the nutrients. And it's just wild to me. And this is crazy too. I know this is an ovary talk, but if this is your esophagus and this is your stomach and these are your small intestines, there's a sphincter at the top of your stomach that actually makes a muscle close so that acid, do HCl, doesn't go up into your esophagus. And the thing that triggers that sphincter to close is hydrochloric acid. And if you block that with those proton pump inhibitors, the sphincter never closes. And so whenever you do have an acid secretion in here, this isn't closing at all. So now it's just like everything goes up. And if you gain weight, then you have your diaphragm pushing and you get addicted to proton pump inhibitors or Prilosec. And there is so much, if you just Google it, cancer rates, everything, because if you're not absorbing your nutrients, you're going to die of all sorts of diseases. And that's what doctors do. They just push you to be on these proton pump inhibitors. And estrogen decline is one of the number one reasons for the reflux that you're experiencing and the lack of hydrochloric acid. It's just opposite. And they want to block your hydrochloric acid. Elaine says hydrogen water. What do you think of that? Some of the things that are a little bit, and a lot of doctors think what I do is on the fringe, right? But some of those things like hydrogen water, I just don't really understand. I have a Kangen water machine because it makes sense to me, right? Because if you look at the pH of drinking a soda, and then you look at the pH of drinking like alkaline water, it just makes sense because cancer lives in, acidic environments. So it makes sense to me, but then I'm like, well, what about the stomach acid? Doesn't that break down? I mean, doesn't the pH change when the stomach does its job on it? So I don't know, but I think it's fascinating. We actually do hydrogen peroxide IVs in our office for all sorts of things, which is really on the fringe. But as far as the hydrogen water being infused with hydrogen, why not? And as long as it's not got a bunch of fluoride and chemicals and stuff in it, do it. I love it. 86, the foods that cause acid reflux. 86, yeah, 86, the foods that cause acid reflux. Yes. Plus there's like, spicy foods and alcohol and all the yummy stuff. Very bad med. Yes. It's confusing to me. It's all confusing. It's like, it's clown world. Okay. So estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, having good reserves, having good adrenals. It's like having money in your 401k, be easier on your adrenals, because if you give your body what it needs before your ovaries die, your adrenals will have a much easier time. And one of the biggest things is having a healthy liver. So normally I'm here drinking my dandelion tea. I don't know where, I always knew her as Tacoma, but her name's actually Dana. I don't know. I haven't seen her in a minute. I love you, Dana, if you're out there. But we used to always drink our dandelion tea together. But so yeah, healthy liver. And there are all sorts of supplements you can take for healthy liver. But one of the biggest things is keeping the hormone balance, and start anytime. Bioidentical hormones, start balancing everything now. Hi, Cindy. Oh, and I just saw Doreen. Hello, Doreen. Hello. Okay, so number one was build a hormone savings account. Number 2 is get protection when your ovaries retire. So that's protecting, like the 401k, protecting your money, protecting your ovaries. How do you do that? So get on bioidentical hormone therapy, which is my big plug for our hormone program. And it's like a 401k, only this is your reserve, right? So, well, your adrenal reserve, but this is what you have planned for. So now you're going to cash in and take some hormones, right? So you are going to have to pull from outside sources, which that's a good thing to have, right? When you have outside sources. Okay, and healthy reserves. So take care of your adrenal glands. Low belly fat. So low belly fat, which is this vicious cycle, because after menopause, after your ovaries fail, and I'm going to show you a picture in just a minute, what happens where your hormones are made from beside your adrenal glands, and it's made in your belly fat. If you have low visceral fat, when you go into menopause, you are less likely to have hormone imbalance when your adrenals are trying to pump out hormones, or when your liver's trying to make sex steroid hormones like estrogen, progesterone from the substrate that it does have. So if you have low belly fat, you are so much more ahead of the game. And the signaling that happens in the other places where your hormones are made are sort of like taxes. So, oh, who doesn't love taxes? Isn't that so funny? But it's sort of like having to pay less taxes because you're not pulling from so many different places. Okay, so we had build hormone savings account, get protection when your ovaries retire, and then manage your hormone wealth and thrive. So how do you do that? Well, you monitor your accounts with testing. And if you're in our program, you know how to get testing. And you just go to Hormone Bliss or my link in bio, and there's lots of free downloads and information. I'm all about knowledge is power, your autonomy. It's all about you having your power. So, so important. Hi, Paula. Hey, honey. You having your power. So you get a test kit, check your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. It's a saliva test, and you send it in, and it's only $97 this month if you want to take advantage of the specials. Green 97. So then we can make a plan to get you on some hormones, which is the best part. Okay. Get testing, know your balance. You want to know how much money you have in the bank, right? Especially when you retire, that's something important to know. So testing your hormone levels is very important. Now, the first time you test your hormone levels, if you haven't before, and your ovaries have already failed, you've already been through that year without periods, they're going to be zero. Absolutely zero. Yay, kits are being bought. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. I have this little app that dings and I see when kits are bought. So I love it. Tell your friends, please tell your friends to go order some kits. Okay. So you want to know your account balance. You want to keep healthy accounts, and you do that through taking hormones. And one of the things you can do also to manage your hormone wealth and your money health, one of the things people do sometimes is they work a part-time job after they, quote, retire, and they might have a hobby or travel. So maybe a little extra money working a part-time job. So what can you do to get some extra hormones when your ovaries are done? Well, one thing you can do is exercise, right? Who knew? Because when you do strength training, your muscles actually signal to your adrenal glands to make more testosterone. So it's sort of this vicious cycle of if you don't strength train and you don't make testosterone, your body just stops really needing to make it. And then you get flabby, and then you have no strength, and then you get deconditioned. And then that's how you end up in the nursing home with nothing. So building muscle, that's really important. And then investing in fun and happy. And it's really hard to feel fun and happy when your hormones are out of balance. So that is part of your retirement. You don't want to do your financial retirement funds. You don't want to go into menopause and ovarian failure without good hormone balance and without getting something to actually pay your health reserves with, to pay your health bills. But that kind of sounds like premiums, insurance premiums. I'm just talking about this is what the currency is after your ovaries fail. And there are not enough yam creams. There's not enough diethylmendolamine or DIM supplements. There's not enough soy or black cohosh to protect your bones, your brain, and your heart. So even if you're willing to suck it up and deal with night sweats or hot flashes or mood changes, there's not enough to protect your heart and bones and prevent cancer and prevent dementia. There's not enough in any of those things. So when people say, I'm fine, I feel fine, I don't have that many symptoms, or they've learned to minimize their symptoms because that's what we do as women, we take care of everybody else, I tell them hormones are important because you don't have any now and you need them because you're just going to crumble up and blow away just like you do when your ovaries are done. They just dry up and blow away. So yes, my wonderful moderator says, must be bioidentical. Yes, I have so many videos. If you're curious or you think that hormones cause cancer, well, first of all, what hormones? And then you have to go to, is it estrogen? And it's not estrogen. And the study in 2002 that scared everybody, it was actually the synthetic progestins. And when we go to bioidentical and we use them in a topical form, which is saliva testing is really good for measuring the tissue levels instead of the blood levels. When we use bioidentical topical hormone creams, they are so protective and so beneficial and help with all the symptoms. So the benefits go way beyond just you feeling okay. And I always say liking your family and your family liking you, your bones, your brain, your heart, all the things. Okay. So where are we now? Okay. So I'm going to skip over here and we are going to talk about what the ovaries do before they retire. And this is fun. Physiology. Okay. So what the ovaries do before they retire is they make steroid hormones. So that's no doubt, right? The estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. And then they also reserve and do quality control. So they're egg reserve. So the eggs in the basket, they keep the eggs. And for years I wondered, if you have millions of eggs in your ovaries, I'm thinking, how do you have all those eggs in your ovaries, right? I'm thinking like an egg. And so when I actually studied it, what I realized is they are just cells that are just little, they're egg cells, basically. They're not eggs yet. And they don't really become full-blown eggs without the hormone influence. So your ovaries talk to your brain and your brain talks to your ovaries. And that hormone conversation that they have is what makes those eggs actually develop. So when you have a cyst that you make every month, that is, or a follicle, not the bad kind of cyst, not where they like just explode and hurt. Every month you make a cyst or a follicle, that's completely normal. What's not normal is when they get really big and bust. So they're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to gently release an egg every month. So when you have an egg that gets developed, that only that egg is actually, and it's still electron microscope small, but that's how you can have millions, right? Okay. Interestingly, you are born with 1 to 2 million eggs, and by the time you start your periods, you've already, it's called senescence. You've already had internal egg suicide. That many is left. They've already sort of said, hey, you're not healthy. Your chromosomes are messed up. You should not be an egg. You should not be a baby, because that would not be a healthy baby. So they're like, okay, I'm out. Cool. Bye. And then they just go into egg heaven, right? Okay. So when you actually ovulate, you spend up about 400 eggs in a lifetime, because you ovulate one egg, you pop out an egg every month. The next month you pop it out from the other side, so it alternates sides. And if you count out how many years are in a fertile woman's life, that adds up to about 400 eggs, give or take some. And the ovaries also preserve the quality and they regulate the DNA. So it's quality control. So they're constantly saying, you look good, out, you look good, let's make a baby with that. Okay. So, and the ovaries are also messengers. And the ovarian hormones actually talk to the brain and make a hormone called FSH, or the brain makes the FSH and LH, which stands for follicle stimulating hormone. And I'm going to do a little picture here, just kind of explain that just a little bit. So if we did a graph and we put hormones on this axis and we did 28 days, so this is a menstrual cycle, and day 14 is the day you ovulate. Ova means egg. Ovulate means you pop an egg out. Day 14 is the day you ovulate. So the first part of this cycle is actually driven by estrogen. And it does this, and it peaks about right before your period, and that's where you start getting PMS. And then it normally balances out here. And then progesterone comes in. Looks like Christmas. Progesterone comes in, grabs onto the estrogen, not really, but it's this feedback hormone that happens with the brain. So I'm doing this, but if I were to draw a person here, this pituitary gland in the head is making your FSH and your LH. So the ovaries are here. So the hormones are talking back and forth. So progesterone is then called to release, pulls that estrogen peak down so you don't have PMS and estrogen dominance and you're not bloating and angry and wanted to kill the cat. And then progesterone peaks and then it balances out here. So this part of the cycle, day 1 through 14, is when the follicle is actually starting to pop out the egg. So we call that the follicle phase or follicular phase. And this part of the cycle is what we call the luteal phase. And that's when it's starting all over again. So follicle stimulating hormone comes from the brain and tells the ovaries what to do. And that's when progesterone comes on the scene. And again, there won't be a quiz about this. I just want you to kind of understand that estrogen and progesterone are in the ovaries are talking to the head. So this whole point of another function of the ovaries is this messenger system so that the ovaries can still keep producing, because the brain is necessary to tell them. So when you don't have eggs in your basket anymore, you're born with all the eggs you're going to have. Once you get to menopause at the age of 50, now you have no eggs in your basket. The ovaries don't talk to the brain anymore. And then the brain says, what the heck? Where are you guys at? What are you doing? And then that makes the FSH go high. So that is one way to know if you're out of eggs, is an elevated follicular stimulating hormone. So that's a little nerdy science. It's probably a little beyond what you even want to know, but that's kind of interesting to me. Okay, so the last thing I want to share is, hey, you got 4 boards tonight. This is too cool. Usually we only do 3, so this is fun. Okay, so I want to just talk, and I know I'm about to run out of time, but I just want to talk about a couple of things here, and that is, and I need to push this back just a little so you can see it over there. Okay, cool. You can see that. And that is that your hormones are made in lots of other places, so we want to protect in advance for our retirement that the adrenals, these are the adrenals here. So your ovaries are made from 3 different places. They're made from the ovaries, the adrenals, and the fat cells around the stomach. So these are your adrenals, these are your ovaries, and this is the fat. And if you get pregnant, you also make hormones from the placenta, where the baby lives. If you have healthy adrenal glands, you make your sex steroid hormones from your adrenal glands. But your adrenals also regulate your blood sugar and your blood pressure. And so if they are really struggling because you don't have enough estrogen anymore, now it's trying to make more estrogen. These things are going to be compromised. So that's not good. So when we look at what happens as well, the fat cells actually make androgens, which then turn into E2 and E1. And I've talked in other videos about E1 is, quote, the angry teenager estrogen. And so it's not a bad hormone. If you're trying to grow breast and you're a 9-year-old girl, you need lots of that estrone or E1. But if you are a menopausal female, that E1 can then cause proliferation in the breast, proliferation just means growth, which can cause that growth, which can cause cellular change, which can lead to cancer. So estrone is not your friend after menopause, and that's almost exclusively what's made by belly fat. So we really want to limit that. And the ovaries also can convert some testosterone to E2. And when you don't have ovaries, now you don't have that testosterone conversion anymore. And now if you're depending on all the fat, all you have pretty much is that estrone. So that can be a real problem. And the liver is really healthy because your liver, draw the liver over here, takes cholesterol, and that's not a fatty globule ready to cause a heart attack. It's actually a steroid hormone, which steroids are your estrogen, progesterones, testosterones, and turns into progesterone, your androgens like testosterone, DHEA, and androstenedione, and then also into your estrogens. And this was where it's kind of going with that E1, E2, and E3. So your fat cells are making mostly your E1, which is the angry teenager estrogen. And E3 is your happy estrogen and says, chill out to E1. And then E2 is your perfect blend. So things that can happen to your ovaries, of course, you can get cancer. You can get cysts like PCOS. Your ovaries can twist. We call that torsion. That's not good. And you can actually get endometriosis, which is normally, I'm going to come down here. These are ovaries, and this is the uterus. I know that's a terrible, terrible drawing, but endometriosis is when you have tissue that's normally in the uterus. We call that the endometrial lining out here in the pelvic cavity. And it's very, very painful. And it's just a bad thing. And one of the ways it can happen is when you have too much blood building up And I have a whole talk on what the uterus does on another video. You can go back and watch. But if you have too much blood in here because you have too much estrogen dominance, the blood can actually like overflow and spill back out the fallopian tubes into the outside peritoneum or in your pelvis, and that's where you get endometriosis. Well, it can also settle in the ovaries, and that's what we call endometriomas, and that can be a really bad thing too. Okay, so if you have a hysterectomy, that just means you remove the uterus, but the ovaries are still there, potentially causing problems. If you have an oophorectomy, which oo just means basically ovary, and you just have one removed, then we call that a partial hysterectomy. And a total hysterectomy is when you take it all out. So remove an ovary. People ask me sometimes, so this is just kind of a little Q&A about ovaries, and you guys can ask questions if you want to. But some people say, what happens if you remove an ovary? Well, whatever the problem was before that caused that, even ovarian cancer, there was a hormone imbalance. There was something wrong that caused that. You still didn't fix the problem. So just removing an ovary doesn't fix the problem. And removing an ovary instead of fixing the hormone problem actually will cut your eggs in half, right? So if you've got your basket of eggs, now you've got half your eggs. You could actually say 2 baskets, right? So you've got 2 baskets of eggs, and now you don't have 1 basket at all. So you are down to half your eggs. It can cause early menopause because now the hormone imbalance is messed up. It can cause early perimenopause, can, of course, lower your fertility because you don't have the same number of eggs. And your cancer risk can actually go up more if you have an ovary removed just because of the stress on the system and the estrogen imbalance. You can actually, more cancer risk come from late menopause and from never being pregnant, obesity, and smoking, of course. So I can't believe I've squeezed all this in. I just kind of rambled there at the end. But I told you guys that at the end, I would answer the question of if you have your tubes tied, can that cause problems? And I've had so many women feel so relieved when I tell them, yes, it can cause hormone imbalance. And when I show you the picture, you'll totally understand why it makes total sense and why doctors are telling women, oh, it's all in your head. Tubals are nothing. You have a tubes tied. That doesn't have any impact at all. I just want to go, did you go to med school at all? Because if you look at the physiology, that is ridiculous. So I'm not telling you not to get your tubes tied. I had my tubes tied before I had my hysterectomy, of course. I have my son. But I had my tubes tied because I was already almost 40 when I had him. And I'd had fertility problems for like 13 years. So when I finally got him, I'm like, okay, I'm old. My eggs are old. God wanted me to have him. So I'm good. I'm going to we're tying these tubes and I'm just going to love on my son. And he's 21 now, almost 21, and just loving on him. Yay, Jennifer Young. I'm so happy for you. Yay, yay, yay. So yeah, it'll come probably in the next few days. And don't forget to send it in because sometimes people order it and they're just like, oh, okay, whatever. And they put it by your bedside and do it immediately so we can get the results. Only takes a couple weeks, maybe 14 days, something like that. But we can get you started on some creams and get you balanced. Yay, I love it. Okay. So this is called PTLS or post-tubal ligation syndrome. So tubal are the fallopian tubes and are the fallopian tubes. So, okay, here is the uterus. I'm going to clean this up a little bit because that looks really crazy now. Okay, so here's the uterus, and these are the ovaries. This is where the ovaries actually, they make an egg, they go up the fallopian tubes, go down here, and then if they get fertilized, we're all good. Okay, so this over here, if they ask if having your tubes tied can affect anything. Let's say you have healthy ovaries, healthy uterus, healthy cervix. If you were to tie the tubes, and usually what they do is cut them and burn them, so there is no way, and it's not perfect, but there's not supposed to be a way for the egg to get over here into the uterus. This over here is Doctor, please send me the kit instructions. Thank you. Okay. If you already have the kit, the instructions should be in there. And if you don't, just email us or you can direct message me. And if you don't have a kit yet, go to Hormone Bliss or my link in bio, and there's tons of information how to order and other free information and downloads. So, and if you already have a kit and you just go to, just direct message me. There should be an email attached when you ordered the kit too that you can ask somebody to. And if you go to our website, there's a phone number you can call. So call that phone number. I don't have it off the top of my head, but if you go there, you will see that. Okay, they're telling me I have to wrap it up, but I'm talking about the tube tied thing. Okay, so this is the uterine artery here. I know it's kind of messy, so I'm going to take all this out so you can see this a little bit better. And this is the ovarian artery. And if you see this, it has all these little tributaries that actually feed the ovary so the ovary can get blood supply. And so this is the fallopian tube up here. This is another artery that feeds the fallopian tube. It's the artery branching up. Okay, so if you have your tubes tied, you are losing some of the blood flow to the ovary. So you have your tubes tied. You don't have that. You still have that feeding the uterus. But now you have an ovary that's got no blood supply to it. So yeah, you're absolutely going to have a compromised ovary. And if you have a compromised ovary that doesn't have blood flow to it, it's almost like if you took your hand and you cut off the blood supply to it, you're going to have pain in your hand. You're going to have atrophy of the hand. You're going to have a hand that don't work no more. So it is absolutely a thing. So I told you if you stayed to the end, I would answer that question. And they call it post-tubal ligation syndrome. And it is very, very real. And because I actually listen to women when they come in, and I actually hear them, and a lot of doctors are like, oh, here's your sleeping pill, here's your blah, 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 whatever, antidepressant. Because I actually listen, and they sometimes they're embarrassed to say, I had my tubes tied. And I've tried to tell so many doctors that's a thing. And they just look at me like I'm crazy. And some doctors, actually, if they have spiritual side, they'll say, yeah, because there's a chi flow. I believe that too, that there is an energetic flow to the body. But there's a freaking physiological reason you've compromised the blood flow to the ovary. So it's a real thing. So if you've ever experienced that, or you're suffering from that, or you've had anybody tell you, I think it's a problem. Because women tell me all the time, it started happening after I had my tubes tied. So there you go. Okay, so get your test kit, get your hormones checked. I'm really excited for Jennifer and any of you guys on here who are on the fence. We have our tribe, we have our members that are on hormones, and I get to hear the wonderful stories all the time. The lives were changing. So if you want to be a part of the movement, tell your friends, share these videos with them. I have, oh yeah, worst cramps ever after my tubal. Yep, it's a thing. It's a thing. So I'm sorry if you've been, marginalized or minimalized about that, because it's real. But yeah, so I'm here on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday nights. And Mike, my beautiful fiance, has asked that Monday we skip. So I'll be here Wednesday and Friday. But Monday's my birthday at St. Patrick's Day. So I'm going to skip out on you guys that night. I will still do a video, some fun little video for you guys, educational video or something. So you will see me on Monday, but I won't be here live blabbing about hormones and stuff. So anyway, what else can I tell you? Yes. So order a kit. The sale price is, oh, thank you, Jennifer. The sale price is $97 this month. And when you get to checkout, you go to Hormone Bliss and you get to the checkout page, if you put the discount code in green 97, it is only $97. Normally it's $129. So we even decreased it because the regular price was $297, I think. And then we wanted it to be affordable for people. So we lowered it to $129, and now it's less than $100. So really super cool to get your hormones checked, and tell your friends if they're having, oh, it was $297. Yeah. And if your friends are having hormone problems, tell them it doesn't hurt to check. It's not even a finger stick. It's not even a blood draw. It's literally just putting your saliva in this tube and sending it in, and you get this full color report, and it assesses all your symptoms. So you get to put in all your symptoms, if you're on medications, if you're on current hormones, what you're doing. And then we look at that, and then we devise a plan to get you on hormones to get you feeling better. Okay, that's a wrap. I got to go because they're going to kick me off here. That's how it rolls. But anyway, I love you all very much, and I will see you here Wednesday night. If I didn't get your questions answered, or if you have any questions, feel free to email me at drtammy@Hormone Bliss, or go to my link in bio. All roads lead back to the website, and you can contact us there, or you can direct message me on TikTok and any other platforms that I'm on. I always stream on everything else too. You guys are kind of like, you get so neglected because I interact on TikTok, but I'm looking over there because I'm actually live streaming on all the other platforms. So you guys can message me on the other platforms as well. Okay. Love you guys. See you Wednesday.